you want to introduce the play?
Yes. So this play is called And Then There Were None. This is arguably the most famous murder mystery of all time. It is also arguably the best. It is written by Agatha Christie, who is the best-selling playwright / author of all time, and also arguably the best.
All right, so before we start, we just want to give a couple shout-outs to people who played a huge role, no pun intended, in making this production happen. First and foremost, thank you to the entire Department of Performing Arts for helping us out with scheduling these spaces and just making sure that we had a show to put on in the first place. Thank you to our student crew members, Mateo and Rosemary. Mateo's been working with us. And last but most definitely not least, thank you so much to our actors who, to put it in perspective, have put on a full-length play with only 2 hours of rehearsals a week, which is 1/5 of the rehearsal time that we usually get to do full plays, and they pulled it off for the first time in Masters history. So that's they're all such hardworking people, and they've all grown so much as actors, and we couldn't be more proud to have them debut for you guys tonight. The last thing I'll say is this is kind of a trigger warning. This is a murder mystery. There will be gunshots, and they will be loud, simply because we want the actors to be able to hear them so that they can move on with the scene as they should. So just be aware of that. Hopefully, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's it.
And I might just touch that number. I'm assistant director.
I'm the director. Yes. So, yeah, thank you all so much for coming. And without further ado, we now present to you And Then There Were None.
So, lemons, slip soles, cream, eggs, tomatoes, butter. That's everything, isn't it?
That's right. So much to do, I don't know where to start. No maids till the morning, and all these guests arriving today.
Oh, come off it, Ethel. Everything ship-shape now.
Looks neat enough to me. Kind of bare, but rich folks like Mrs. Bear, it seems.
Oh, calm down, Ethel, and take everything into the kitchen. They'll be arriving soon.
Oh, I forgot to give the list of guests.
Thank you. Oh. Doesn't look like a very classy lot to me. Miss Claythorne. She must be the secretary.
I don't hold much with secretaries. Worse than hospital nurses and giving themselves airs and graces and looking down on servants.
Oh, quit grousing, Ethel, and cut along to that nice, new, up-to-date kitchen of yours.
Too many newfangled gadgets for my fancy.
So this is it.
How perfectly lovely!
Miss Claythorne.
You're Rogers?
Yes, miss.
Good evening, Rogers.
Good evening, miss.
Would you please bring up my luggage and Captain Lombard's?
Very good, miss.
You've been here before?
No, but I've heard a lot about the place.
Well, I ought to find Mrs. Owen. The others will be up in a minute.
It'd be rude to leave me all by myself, wouldn't it?
Oh, would it? Well, I wonder where she is.
She'll come down when she's ready. While we're waiting, do you think I could have a drink? I'm very dry.
Of course you could.
What's yours?
Oh, not for me, thanks. Not on duty.
Well, the good secretary is never off duty.
This is exciting.
What?
All this, the smell of the sea, the gulls, the beach, and this lovely house. I'm going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. Here's to you. You're very lovely.
Where is Mrs. Owen?
She's not coming down until tomorrow, miss. I thought you knew.
Tomorrow? But...
Here's the list of guests. If you want it, the second boatload's just arriving.
Thank you. How awful. I say you will be sweet and help me, won't you?
Oh, I won't move from your side.
Thank you. It seems silly to have brought on the yachts in the first boat and all the rest in the second.
Well, that, I'm afraid, was design, not accident.
Design? What do you mean?
I suggested to the boatman that there was no need to bring any more passengers on. That and 5 shillings soon started up the engine.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Well, they're not a very exciting lot, are they?
I thought the young man was rather nice looking.
Callow. Definitely callow. And very, very young.
I suppose you think a man in his 30s is more attractive.
Well, I don't think, my darling. I know.
Wizard place you've got here!
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Oh, that's too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr.
Marston. Anthony Marston.
Have a drink.
Oh, thank you.
Will you have gin, sherry, whiskey?
Whiskey, I think. Wonderful place you have here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid.
And how are you?
Well, my name's Lombard. Have a drink, Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name.
Oh, Mr. Davis? Mr. Marston.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Marston. Thank you, Mr. Lombard. Bit of a stiff climb up here, but woo! What a view and what a height. Reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
Oh, Nigel, Durban.
Really?
Well, here's too temperate. Do you know South Africa?
Me? No.
Oh, well, that's where I come from. That is my natal state.
Interesting country, I should think.
Oh, it's got everything a man could want. Diamonds, gold, oranges, finest country in the world.
How do you do? General Mackenzie, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. May I introduce to you Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, and Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name.
Whiskey and soda, sir.
Thanks. You in the service.
Formally. 2-piece for me, time, chucked it.
Peggy, when? Where's Mrs. Owen? Miss Brent, isn't it? I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Indeed. Extraordinary. Did you miss the train?
I expect so. Won't you have something? May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, General Mackenzie. I think you all met on a boat. And Mr.
Davis. Davis is the name. May I take your case?
Oh. Do let me give you a drink. Dry martini, glass of sherry.
I never touch alcohol.
You never. Alcohol?
I suppose you know, young man, that you left us standing down the wharf.
I'm afraid, Miss Brent, I was to blame for that.
It seems to me most extraordinary that Mrs. Owen should not be here to receive her guests.
Well, perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She hasn't got a husband. I should like to go to my room.
Yes, of course. I'll take you there.
Mrs. Roger will be upstairs, miss. She'll show you to your room.
I'm afraid our host and hostess haven't arrived. My name's Lombard.
Mine's Walgrave. How do you do?
How do you do? Have a drink, sir.
Oh, yes, please, whiskey.
Davis. Davis is the name. Wonderful place you have here. Quite unique.
As you say, quite unique.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Name's Davis.
Mine's Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong, I believe.
Yes.
Thought so. Never forget a face.
Well, don't tell me I forgot one of my patients.
Nah, nothing like that. It's just I saw you in court one time. You gave expert evidence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, have a drink.
Oh, no, thank you. I never touch it.
So, come down by train.
Oh, no, I mowed it down. I stopped in on a patient on the way. Great improvement. Wonderful response.
Best part of 200 miles. How long did it take you?
Well, I didn't hurry. I never hurry. It's bad for the nerves. You know, I'm a nerve specialist. You must excuse me.
Hey, Rogers. What time's supper?
At 8 o'clock, sir. In a bit under a quarter of an hour.
Great place here.
Thank you, sir.
Been here long.
No, sir, just under a week.
So, I don't suppose you know much about the crowd that's gathered.
No, sir.
Just all old friends of the family?
I really couldn't say so.
Right. Oh! Rogers, one more thing. Do you think that you could put some sandwiches and a bottle of beer by my bed at night? I get an elegant appetite with this here.
I'll see what I can do.
Very well, Rogers. Not to come and give me a hand with dirty dishes, but always leaving the dirty work to me. Here I am with a full-course dinner on my hands and no one to help me. You might come and give me a hand with the dishing up. Who is it you're talking to, by the way?
Davis, South African gentleman. No class, if you ask me. And no money either.
I don't like them. Don't like any of them much.
Anyway, the money's good.
So it taught me. I can tell you this, Rogers. I'm not staying any place where I'm from. Cooking's my business. I'm a good cook.
First rate, old girl.
Dinner won't be a minute, miss. Just a question of doing the dishing up. Everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Yes. The missus talks a lot, but she gets it done.
Oh, what a lovely evening.
Yes, indeed. The weather seems very settled.
How plainly one can hear the sea.
A pleasant sound.
And deliciously warm. Not like England at all.
I should have thought that you might feel a little uncomfortable in that dress.
Oh. No.
It's rather tight, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so.
You'll excuse me, my dear, but you're a young girl and you've got your living to make.
Yes.
A well-bred woman doesn't like her secretary to appear flashy. It looks, you know, as though you were trying to attract the attention of the opposite sex.
Oh, and would you say I do attract them?
That's beside the point. A girl who deliberately sets out to gain the attention of men isn't likely to keep her job long.
Oh, well, surely that depends on who she's working for.
What about the old boy?
Well, he looks rather like a tortoise, don't you think?
Well, all judges look like tortoises. They have that venomous way of darting their heads in and out. Mr. Justice Wargrave is no exception.
Well, I didn't realize he was a judge.
Oh, yes. He's probably been responsible for sending more innocent people to death than anyone in England. Hello, you. Have you two met? Mr. Armstrong, Miss Claythorne? Armstrong and I have just decided that the old boy...
Yes, I heard you, and so did he, I think.
Oh, Sir Lawrence.
Oh, Miss Brent, isn't it?
There's something I want to ask you. Will you come out here?
Sick! Come down from London.
Yeah, 208 miles and did it a bit over 4 hours. Too many cars on the road though.
But I hit 90 gun on Salisbury Plain. Not too bad, eh?
How could you pass me on the road?
Oh, did I?
You nearly drowned me into the ditch.
Oh, sorry.
Remember, I just reported you.
How about a drink?
A good idea.
Good evening, Mrs. Owen.
Why, Mrs. Owen?
You make the most attractive wife for any wealthy businessman.
You always flirt so outrageously.
Always.
Oh, well, now we know.
Tell me, what's old Miss Brent talking to the judge about? She tried to buttonhole him upstairs.
I don't know. Funny, she seemed so definite that there wasn't a Mr. Owen.
You don't think that maybe they're not, or that they aren't?
What? Married, you mean?
Don't say we don't know each other. I'm giving you a lift down, right?
Yes, that would have been grand.
You see what I could do over Salisbury Plains? Tell you what, how about me and you? Right, come back, in the car, on the way back, yeah?
But I...
Well, it seems so damn silly I've got an empty car and...
She likes the way she's coming back.
Look! Aren't they sweet? 10 little China soldiers. Oh, and there's the old nursery rhyme.
What are you talking about?
10 little soldier boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys stayed up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
7 little soldier boys. 8 little soldier boys travelling in Devon. One got left behind, and then there were 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. You are charged with these indictments that you did respectively and at diverse times commit the following. Edward Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louisa May Cleese. William Henry Bloor, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor. Emily Caroline Brent, that you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that you killed Peter Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the deaths of 21 men. John Gordon Mackenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
It's nothing much. She'll be alright. She just fainted is all. Somebody get some brandy.
More good brandy!
Who was that speaking? It sounded...
What's going on here? What kind of a practical joke was that?
Where the devil did that voice come from?
Just a disgraceful and heartless practical joke.
So you think it's a joke, do you?
What else can it be?
At the moment, I'm not quite prepared to give an opinion.
So the devil turned it on though, instead of going.
We must inquire into that.
Oh, dear me, dear me.
If you'll help me, sir. Ethel, it's all right. Now pull yourself together.
It's alright, Miss Rogers. You just fainted is all. Nothing to worry about.
Did I faint, sir?
Yes, you did. Just get that brandy.
The awful voice, like a judgment. I'm all right now. Just gave me a turn.
Of course it gave me a turn too. Wicked lies.
Who
I'd like
put
to
that
know.
record on the gramophone? Was it you, Rogers?
I was just following orders, sir.
Whose orders?
Mr. Owens.
Let me get this quite clear. Mr. Owen's orders were what exactly?
To put the record on the gramophone in the study. I thought it was just to give you all a piece of music.
A very remarkable story.
It's the truth, sir. Before heaven, it's the truth. It had a name on it. Can't remember the name.
Is there a title?
Yes, it's entitled The Swan Song.
Preposterous. This whole thing is preposterous.
slinging accusations about like this. Something must be done about it. This fellow Owen, whoever he is.
That's just it. Who is he?
That is exactly what we must look very carefully into. I should suggest that you get your wife to bed, Rogers. Then come back here.
I'll give you a hand.
Will she be all right, Doctor?
This way, Miss Rogers.
Will she be all right?
Yes, quite all right.
If it's between you and me, I could do with another drink.
I agree.
I'll get them.
Preposterous, that's what it is! Preposterous!
I should like a glass of water, please.
Drink
Yes.
you, Sir Lawrence.
Of course, I'll get it. I can do a little whiskey myself.
She'll be all right now. I've given her a sedative.
Now, surely you want a drink after all this, Doctor?
No, thank you. I never touch it.
So you said.
Now then, Rogers, we must get to the bottom of this. Tell me what you know about Mr. Owen.
He owns this place, sir.
I'm aware of that fact. What I want you to tell me is what you yourself know about the man.
Nothing, sir. You see, I've never met him.
What do you mean you've never met him?
My wife and I were engaged by the registry office. We're here under a week, sir.
Have you got the letter?
Yes. Here it is.
Go on with your story.
Like the letter says, we arrived here on the 4th. There's plenty of food in stock and everything was very nice.
What's next?
Nothing. We received orders to prepare the rooms for a house party. 8. And then by the morning post I received a letter saying that Mr. and Mrs. Owen might be delayed, and if so, we were to do the best we can. And to give the instructions about the dinner and the gramophone. Here it is, sir.
Shan't get much out of this. Been handled too much. But maybe you could try fingerprints.
No, quite the little detective.
Hewlett Norman Owen. Got some fancy Christian's names. Quite a mouthful.
It would be well for everybody to come forward with all the information they have regarding our unknown host. We are all his guests. I think it would be profitable if each one of us were to explain exactly how that came about. Have you got your letter, Miss Burke?
Yes, I will fetch it for you.
Good. Miss Clayton.
I never actually met Mrs. Owen. I wanted a holiday post and I applied for a secretarial agency. Miss Grenfell's in London. I was offered the post and accepted.
And you were never interviewed by your prospective employer?
No. This is the letter.
Soldier Island, Sticklehaven, Devon. I received your name from Miss Grenfell's agency. I understand she knows you personally. I shall be glad to pay you the salary you ask, and shall expect you to take up your duties on August 8th. Yours truly, Una Nancy Owen. Mr. Marston.
Don't actually know the Owens. Got a wire from a friend of mine. Told me to pull up here.
Thank you. Dr. Armstrong?
Mr. Owen wrote me that he was worried about his wife's health, her nerves to be precise, and he wanted me to schedule a report without her being alarmed. So he suggested that my visit be treated as that of an ordinary guest.
And you had no previous acquaintance with the family?
No.
But you had no hesitation in obeying their summons?
Well, a colleague of mine was mentioned, and a very handsome fee was suggested. Plus, I was due for a holiday anyway.
Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. I'm starting a guest house off an island on the coast of Devon. I think there's really an opening for a place where there's good, plain English cooking and a nice old-fashioned type of person. None of this nudity and gramophones after night. I shall be very glad if you could see your way to spending your summer holiday on Soldier Island, as my guest, of course. Yours truly, U.N. Yes, the signature is slightly ambiguous.
I like the nudity touch.
Here's my own decoy letter from an old friend of mine. General Mackenzie.
Got a letter from this fellow Owen. Mentioned some old cronies of mine who were to be here. Hope don't excuse informal invitation. Haven't kept the letter, I'm afraid.
And you, Captain Lombard?
Invitation mentioning mutual friends. I haven't kept the letter either.
An apparently disembodied voice spoke to us all by name, uttering certain definite accusations against us. Amongst the names received were that of William Henry Bloor. But as far as we are concerned, there's no one named Bloor amongst us. The name of Davis was not mentioned. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Davis?
Well, cat's out of the bag, it seems. I suppose I better admit that my name isn't Davis.
You are William Henry Law?
That's right.
I will add something to that. Not only are you here under a false name, Mr. Blore, but I've also noticed this evening that you are a first-class liar. You claim to have come from Natal, South Africa, and I know South Africa and Natal very well, and I'm prepared to claim that you have never set foot there in your life.
You've got me all wrong. I'm an ex-CID man.
Oh, a copper!
I've got my credentials and I can prove it. I run a detective agency in Plymouth. I was put onto this job.
By whom?
By Mr. Owen. Sent a very fine money order for my expenses. Said that I was to keep an eye on every single one of you. Said a list of your names.
Any reasons given?
Said that Mrs. Owen had some valuable jewels. Miss Owen, my foot! I don't believe there's any such person.
Your conclusions are, I think, justified. Ulick Norman Owen. Una Nancy Owen. Each time that is to say, U-N Owen. Or, by a slight stretch of fancy, unknown.
But it's fantastic! Mad!
Oh, yes. I have no doubt in my mind that we've been invited here by a madman. Probably a dangerous homicidal lunatic!
Oh my God!
Whoever it is who has enticed us here has taken the trouble to learn a very great deal about all of us. A very great deal.
It's all your well-written accusations.
Our unknown friend accuses me of the murder of one Edward Seaton. I remember Seaton perfectly well. He came up before me in trial in June 1930. He was charged with the murder of an elderly woman. He was very ably defended and made a good impression on the jury in the witness box. Nevertheless, on the evidence, he was certainly guilty. I summed up accordingly, and on the jury, they brought in a verdict of guilty, and the man was duly executed. I wish to say before you all that my conscience is perfectly clear on the matter. I did my duty and nothing more. I passed sentence on a rightly convicted murderer.
But did you know Seaton at all? I mean, personally.
I know nothing of Seaton previous to the trial.
The old boy's lying. I swear he's lying.
He was a madman. Absolute madman. However, I feel I ought to say about young Arthur Richmond. Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on reconnaissance in 1917. He was killed.
You know, I've been thinking this John and Lucy Combs might have been two kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck, really.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me, but for them, yeah.
This meeting's all wrong. Men like you are a danger to the community.
Might I have a word?
Go ahead, Rogers.
There was mention of me and Mrs. Rogers and a Ms. Jennifer Brady. Wicked lies, all of it. We were with Miss Brady when she died. She was never in good health ever since we came to her. There was a storm the night she died. We couldn't get the doctor to her. We are devoted to her. Anyone would tell you the same.
Came into a nice little something upon her death, didn't you?
We received a legacy in recognition of faithful service.
Oh, and what about you, Blore?
What about me?
Your name was on the list.
I know. Landlord, you mean? That was the London and Commercial Bank robbery.
I remember the name, though it didn't come quite before me. Lander was convicted on your evidence. You were the police officer in charge of this case.
That's right.
Lander got penal servitude for life and died in Dortmund a year later. He was a delicate man.
He was a crook. Case was clear from the start.
You were complimented, I think, on your able handling of the case.
I got my promotion. I was only doing my duty.
Oh, a convenient word. Duty. What about you, Doctor?
Well, the name meant nothing to me. What was it again? It was close. Well, anyway, I don't remember having a patient of that name or being connected with a murder in any way. And anyway, whenever the patient dies, it's always the surgeon's fault.
And then it's better to pick up nerve cases and give up surgery. Some, of course, give up drink.
I protest. How dare you insinuate such things? I never touch alcohol.
Oh, well, my dear fellow, I never suggested you did.
Miss Clayton.
I was nursery governess to Peter Hamilton. He was forbidden to swim out far. One day when my attention was distracted, he started off. As soon as I noticed what had happened, I swam after him. I couldn't get there in time.
Was there an inquest?
Yes. I was exonerated by the coroner. His mother didn't blame me either.
Thank you. Miss Brent.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing?
Nothing.
You reserve your defense?
There is no question of defense.
Well, what a law-abiding lot we seem to be, myself excepted.
We are waiting for your story, Captain Lombard.
Oh, I've got a story.
What do you mean?
Well, it's perfectly true. I did it. I left those men in the bush alone. A matter of self-preservation, if you ask me.
You abandoned your men!
Well, it's not quite the act of a proper gentleman.
Our inquiry rests here. Now, Rogers, tell me, who else is on this island besides ourselves, you and your wife?
Nobody, sir.
You're sure of that?
Absolutely sure.
Thank you. Don't go yet, Rogers. I am not yet clear as to the purpose of our unknown host in getting us to assemble here. He may be dangerous. In my opinion, it would be well for us to leave this place as soon as possible.
There is no boat on the island.
No boat? No boat at all?
No,
Why don't you telephone to the mainland?
there's no telephone.
Oh, positively thrilling!
At this point in my life, I have no desire for thrills.
Well, the legal life's narrowing. I'm all for crime. Well, here's to it.
Oh my God! He's dead!
Dead? Do you mean the fellow just choked and died?
You can call it choking if you like, but he died in asphyxiation, sure enough.
Never knew a man could die like that. Just of a choking
A
fit.
man doesn't die of a choking fit. General Mackenzie Marston's death isn't what we call a natural death.
Was there something in the whiskey?
Yes. Probably by the smell of it. Probably cyanide. Probably potassium cyanide. Acts pretty well instantaneously.
Must have put it on himself.
Suicide, eh? That's a rum go.
You'd never think he would commit suicide. He was so alive. He was enjoying himself.
Oh, look. Here's one of the little soldiers off the mantelpiece. Broken.
Good morning. Well, you and I could have had a swim before breakfast. Too bad all this.
Too bad you overslept yourself.
Must have good nerves to sleep like that.
Oh, well, nothing makes me lose my sleep. Did you dream of convicts on Dartmoor?
I don't think that's very funny, Captain Lombard.
Okay. I'm hungry. What about breakfast?
Seems the entire domestic staff's gone on strike.
We could always forage for ourselves. What's that?
Remember we found one of those little fellows smashed last night?
Yes, that ought to leave 9.
There are only 8.
So there are.
I think it's strange, don't you?
Well, probably only 9 to begin with. What's wrong, Doctor?
Mrs. Rogers is dead.
What? No! How?
She died in her sleep. Rogers thought she was still under the sleeping draft I gave her, so we came down without disturbing her. She's been dead about 5 hours, I should say.
Do you know what happened?
Impossible to say.
Yeah. Maybe she had quite a bad shock last night.
Yes, yeah.
I suppose she could have been poisoned, Doctor.
It's possible.
With the same stuff as young Marston?
No, not cyanide. It would have to be some sort of a hypnotic or narcotic.
You did give her some sleeping powders last night,
Yes,
didn't you, Doctor?
I gave her a small dose.
Is it possible you gave her too much?
Certainly not. What do you mean?
No offense, I'm just saying, perhaps if she had a weak
The
heart.
amount I gave her could not have hurt anybody.
What exactly did happen, Doctor?
It's impossible to say without an autopsy.
If, for instance, this death had occurred in the case of one of your private patients, what could have been your procedure?
Oh, well, without any previous knowledge on the woman's state of health, I certainly could not give a certificate.
She was a very nervous-looking creature. Perhaps it was heart failure.
Well, the heart certainly failed to beat, but what caused it to fail?
Conscience.
What exactly do you mean by that, Miss Brent?
You all heard. She was accused, together with her husband, of having deliberately murdered their former employer, an old lady.
And you think that that's true, Miss Brent?
Certainly. You all saw her last night. She broke down completely and fainted. The shock of having her wickedness brought home to her was too much for her. She literally died of fear.
It's a possible theory, but...
Call it, if you prefer, an act of God.
Oh no, Miss Brett!
You regard it as impossible that a sinner should be struck down by the wrath of God? I do not.
Alright, let's be practical. What did she have to eat or drink after she went to bed last night?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Not a cup of tea, a glass of water. I'm sure she had a cup of tea. That sort always does.
Rogers assured me she had nothing whatsoever.
He may say that.
Her husband had a good opportunity of administering the drug.
What do you mean by that?
Think about it. You heard the accusations last night. Miss Brent, one thinks it's true. Rogers and his missus did the old lady in, feeling quite safe and happy about it.
Happy?
Well, they know there's no immediate danger to them. Then what happens last night? Some lunatic goes and spills the beans. What happens? It's the woman cracks. Did you see him standing by her last night when she was coming to, not a husbandly solitude? Not in your sweet life. He was like a cat on hot bricks. They'd done a murder and got away with it. But it's all going to be raked up now. It's a woman who'll give the show away. She's a living danger to her husband. But him, he's all right. They'll go on lying till the cows come home. Can't be so sure of her, though. So, what does he do? Takes a nice little dollop, nice little something, puts into a nice little cup of tea. When she's at it, he washes up the cup and saucer and tells the doctor she ain't had nothing.
Oh no, that's impossible. A man wouldn't do that. Not to his wife.
You'd be surprised with what some husbands can do, Miss Claythorne.
But can't we do something?
Well, yes, we can do something. We can find the funny gentleman who staged his little joke, Mr. Unknown Owen. I'll bet you anything you like he's somewhere on this island. In my opinion, he's as mad as a hatter and as dangerous as a rattlesnake.
Hardly a very good simile, Captain Lombard. The rattlesnake at least gives warning of its approach.
Warning. My God, yes, that's our warning. 10 little soldier boys. There were 10 of us before, right? 10 little soldier boys sitting in a row. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. One choked himself. Marston choked himself, didn't he? And then 9 little soldier boys out very late. One overslept himself. Overslept himself. That last part fits Mrs. Rogers rather well.
You
doesn't
don't mean... Do you think that Mr. Owen wants to kill us all?
I think he does.
And each one fits with the rhyme?
No, it's impossible. It's coincidence. It must be coincidence.
Only 8 little soldier boys here. I suppose you think that's coincidence too?
But there's nobody on this island.
I'm beginning to doubt that.
Oh, this is terrible.
None of us will ever make it off this island.
Do you agree with me, Sir Lawrence?
Up to a point? Yes.
Well, we better get to work. Come on, Armstrong. Come on, Blore.
Does anyone have a revolver? Or I suppose that's too much to hope for.
I've actually...
Whoa! Do you always carry that thing around with you?
Usually, I've been in some tight places.
I don't think you'll ever be in a tighter place than you are now. Alright, you search the house, so Armstrong and I'll take the island.
Okay?
Just mind that he doesn't get you before you get him.
Okay. You two better watch out for yourself, though. Remember, one got left behind.
Come on, Armstrong.
A very energetic young man, Captain Lombard.
Where are you going?
I'm going to sit in the sun and think, my dear lady.
I'm glad Captain Lombard has got a revolver.
Oh, wasting time. Wasting time.
Do you think so?
Yes. Much better to just sit and wait quietly.
Wait for what?
For the end, of course. I wish I could find Leslie.
Your wife?
Yes. I wish you'd known her. She was so pretty. So gay.
Was she?
Yes. I loved her very much. Of course. I was a lot older than she was. She was only 27, you know. Arthur Richmond was 26. He was my ADC. Leslie liked him. They used to talk of music and plays together. She teased him, made fun of him. I thought she took a motherly interest in the boy. Damn fool, wasn't I? No fool like an old fool. Exactly like a book, the way I found out. I was out in France and she wrote to both of us. She put the letters in the wrong envelopes, so I knew.
Oh no.
It's all right, my dear. It's a long time ago, but you see, I loved her very much. I believed in her. I never said anything to him. Just let it gather. Here. Slow murderous rage. Damned young hypocrite! I liked the boy. Trusted him. I wonder where the others are. Sent him to his death. Oh. Leslie never knew. I never told her I'd found out. We went on as usual, but somehow nothing seemed quite real anymore. Yes, I suppose in a way it was murder. Curious murder. And I'd always been such a law-abiding man. Didn't feel like that then. Serves him damn well right! That's what I thought. But after, well, you know, don't you? What do you mean? You don't seem to understand. I thought you would. I thought you'd be glad too that the end is coming. We're all going to die, you know. I don't know. And I want to sit and wait for Leslie to come to me.
All correct. No secret passages, one corpse.
Don't.
I say you do look low. How about a drink to steady your nerves?
A drink? 2 corpses in the house at 9 o'clock in the morning, and all you say, have a drink. An old man going quite crackers. Oh, that's all right, just have the drink. 10 people accused of murder. That's all right, just have a drink. Everything's fine so long as you have a drink.
All right. All right, stay thirsty.
Oh, you! You're nothing but a waster, an adventurer. You make me tired.
What's the matter, my sweet?
I'm not your sweet.
I'm sorry, I rather thought you were.
Well, you can think again.
Well, we've got something in common, you and I. Rogues and murderers can't fall out.
Rogues and murderers?
All right. You don't like the company of rogues and murderers, and you won't have a drink. I will go finish searching.
Is anything the matter?
I'm worried about the general. He really is ill, I think.
Looking out for a boat, General? His sin has found him out.
Oh, don't.
One must face facts.
Can any of us afford to throw stones?
Even if his wife was no better than she should be, and she must have been a depraved woman, he had no right to take judgment into his own hands.
Well, what about Beatrice Taylor?
Who?
That was the name, wasn't it?
You are referring to that absurd accusation about myself?
Yes.
Now that we're alone, I have no objection to telling you the facts of the case. It was not a fit subject to discuss before gentlemen. That girl, Beatrice Taylor, was in my service. She had nice manners and was clean and willing. I was very pleased with her. Of course, all that was sheerest hypocrisy. She was a loose girl with no morals. Disgusting. It was some time before I found out that she was what they call in trouble. It was a great shock to me. Her parents were decent folks too, who had brought her up strictly. I'm glad to say they didn't condone her behavior in the slightest.
What happened?
Naturally, I refused to keep her an hour under my roof. No one shall ever say that I condoned immorality.
Did she drown herself?
Yes,
How old was she?
17.
Only 17?
Quite old enough to know how to behave. I told her what a low depraved thing she was. I told her she was beyond the pale, and that no decent person would take her into their house. I told her that her child would be the child of sin, and would be branded all its life, and that the man would naturally not dream of marrying her. I told her I felt soiled for ever having her under my roof.
What did you feel like when you found out she drowned herself?
Feel like?
Yes, didn't you blame yourself?
Certainly not. I had nothing with which to reproach myself.
I believe you really feel that way. That makes it even more horrible.
That girl's unbalanced.
Breakfast is ready.
Be quiet.
Do you know where the gentlemen are? Breakfast is ready.
So Lawrence Walgrave is out sitting in the sun. Dr. Armstrong and Mr. Bloor searching the island. I shouldn't bother about them.
Breakfast is ready.
Reading, Miss Brett.
It is my custom to read a portion of the Bible every day.
A very useful habit, I'm sure.
What luck did you have?
There's no cover on the island, no caves, no one can hide anywhere.
That's right. What about the house, Lombard?
I'll stake my life there's no one in the house but ourselves. I'll check from the attic to the cellar.
Breakfast is getting cold.
Come on, General. Can't have this breakfast. I say, sir.
Good God!
There's a knife in Mackenzie's back.
How? There's only us on the island.
He's dead! He's dead!
Oh no! Oh no! But there's only us!
Exactly!
my dear sir. Don't you bet that this clever and cunning criminal has always comfortably lived in one stage ahead of all of us? That he knows exactly what we are going to do next and makes his plans accordingly? There is only one place, where a successful criminal could hide and have a reasonable chance of getting away with it.
You say there's one place. Where?
Here, in this room. Mr. Owen is one of us.
So Lawrence. I want to talk to you alone. I was thinking about what you said, and yes, it definitely is one of us, and I think I know which one. Are you familiar with the Lizzie Borden case? An old couple killed with an axe, middle of the morning. The only one that could have done it was the daughter. A mild-mannered, middle-aged spinster. Incredible! So incredible that they acquitted her, but they never found any other explanation.
Then your answer to the problem is Miss Emily Brent?
Yes. Now, think about it. This woman is mad as a hatter. Religious mad. She's exactly the one we need to look out for.
Really? I had formed the impression that your suspicions were in a different quarter.
They have been, but I've since changed my mind. And let me tell you what. Think about it. She is the only one here who isn't acting scared. Do you know why? Because she knows very well that she's in no real danger. Hush!
We've made some coffee. Are Captain Lombard and Rogers still out?
Yes, no boat will put out in this storm and couldn't land anyways.
Miss Brent.
Allow me.
This is a nightmare. It seems as though it can't be true. What are we going to do about it?
We must hold an informal court of inquiry. We may at least be able to eliminate some innocent people.
I don't suppose you have any theories now, do you, Miss Clayton?
If Miss Claythorne suspects one of us, that is a rather awkward question.
I'm sure it isn't any of you. I'd say Dr. Armstrong.
Armstrong?
Yes, because don't you see? He's had far and away the best chance of killing Mrs. Rogers. It'd be terribly easy for him, as a doctor, to give her an overdose of that sleeping stuff.
But someone else gave her the brandy, remember?
Her husband had a good opportunity of administering the drug.
It isn't Rogers. He hasn't got the brains to pull off a stunt like this. Besides, he's scared stiff.
Well, my God, it's something like a storm out there.
Oh, it's only you! Who did you think it was? Beatrice Taylor?
Well, not over rescue until this dies down. Is that coffee? Good.
I may not profess to be a weather prophet, but I think that it is rather unlikely for a boat to reach us anytime soon.
You're awfully wet.
Is anyone here a swimmer? Perhaps we could swim to the mainland.
It's over a mile. And in this sea, you'd be dashed out on the rocks and drowned. Drowned in the pond.
I beg your pardon, Miss Brent.
It's terribly cold in here.
I could light a fire if you like.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
I'll go and get some sticks and coal, and I've got a nice fire lit.
I wonder if he would like some hot coffee. He's very wet. Rogers! Rogers!
I should shortly like to propose certain measures of safety, which I think we should all adopt.
Against whom?
Against each other. Of the 10 people that came to this island, there are only 7 of us left. 7 little soldier boys.
One of whom is a little bogus boy.
Exactly.
The question is, which? What can we do about it?
It's exactly what we must look very carefully into.
Armstrong. Do you think we ought to bring him up a cup?
I will take it up if you like.
Oh, I'll take it up. I need to get changed.
I think that Dr. Armstrong would rather do it to me. He may not admit you, Captain Lombard. He may be afraid of your revolver.
Oh, yes. About that. Want to have a word with you.
And do go and change.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was just wondering why you brought a gun down on your little social visit.
You do you? Well, I've led a rather adventurous life, and I've gotten into the habit of bringing a revolver around. Don't you feel it's a great, safe feeling to have one when you're out?
We don't carry them. Look, no fishy story when I hear one.
Oh, it's about that revolver. I'd like to hear what you've got to say.
Okay. Well, I received a letter inviting me as the guest of a Mr. and Mrs. Owen. The writer said that he'd heard that I'd been a good man in a tight situation. And there'd be danger, but I'd be okay if I kept my eyes open.
And you fell for it.
Well, I did, yes, but quite an intriguing proposition.
Oh, do go and change, please.
I'm going, my sweet. I'm going.
Don't be ridiculous.
That's a tall story. If it's true, why did he tell it to us last night? Look, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't trust him a yard.
Are you such a good judge of the truth?
Look, we must get out of here. We just must before it's too late.
What we must not do is give ourselves away to nerves.
I'm sorry. I've just been overworked lately and run down.
Sleeping badly?
Yes. I keep dreaming hospital operations, a knife at my throat.
Real nightmares.
Yes. Do you ever dream, Judge, that you're in court sentencing a man to death?
Oh, I wish Rogers would hurry up.
He has been a long time. Where is he?
He said he'd gone to get some sticks.
Sticks! Sticks, my God, sticks!
My God!
Here's another one gone. Are there only 6?
There are only 5.
5?
Rogers and Lombard.
Rogers! Rogers!
No, not Philip.
Where the hell is Blower off to like a madman?
Have you seen Rogers?
No, why should I?
2 of the soldier boys are gone.
2.
Well, what is it?
Is he?
Dead? He's dead, all right.
Oh, no.
Chopped in half with an axe. Someone must have come up behind him when he was bent over the wood box.
One chopped himself in half, and then there were 6.
Stop it, Vera, stop it. Stop it. All right. What's next? Bees? It's bees, right? Yes. 6 little soldier boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one. And then there were 5. A bumblebee stung one. They all look very spry. Nothing wrong with any of us. Unless... My God, you don't think. A hypodermic syringe.
A modern bee stick.
Just while she was sitting there.
No.
One of us.
One of us.
Which of us?
Oh my God, this is
Five little soldier boys sitting in a row, watching each other and waiting for the blow. A new version, up to date.
I hardly think this is a moment for facetiousness.
I have to relieve the gloom. Why don't we play a nice little round game? How about inventing one called Suspicions? A suspects B, B suspects C, and so on. And why don't we start with you, Blore? Well, it's not hard to guess who you suspect. I'm your fancy, aren't I, Blore?
I won't say no to that.
You know, you're quite wrong. Abstract justice isn't my line. If I committed murder, there'd have to be something in it for me.
I'm just saying, you've been acting fishy from the start, telling 2 different stories. First, came here with a revolver. Now you've lost it.
I have lost it.
A likely story.
Oh, well, I have.
Now, I know you haven't got it on you. You're too clever for that, so we won't bother searching you, but you know where it is.
You think I've cashed it already for the next time?
Shouldn't be surprised.
Oh. Lord, come on. Use your head. If I wanted to, I could have shot the lot of you by this time. Pop, 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 and pop.
Yeah, but that's not the big idea.
My God, man, the crazy touch? I'm saying enough.
The doctor said there were some lunatics who wouldn't even know we're lunatics. I think that's true enough.
We shouldn't just sit here doing nothing. There must be something. Surely there is something we can do. And if we let a bonfire...
In this weather!
It is, I'm afraid, a question of time and patience. The weather will clear, then we can do something. Light a bonfire, a heliograph, a signal.
A question of time. Time? We can't afford time. We shall all be dead.
I think the precautions we've now adopted shall be adequate.
We shall all be dead, I tell you. All but one. He'll pick up something. He's thinking now.
Poor Louise. What's her name, please? Was it nerves that made you do her in, Doctor?
No, it was drink. I used to be a heavy drinker. God help me, I was drunk when I operated. Quite a simple operation. My hands were shaking all over the place. I remember her now. She was this big, heavy, countrified woman, and I killed her.
So I was right. That's how it was.
Sister knew, of course, but she was loyal to me and to the hospital. And anyway, I gave up drinking. I gave it up altogether.
So Mr. Unknown Owen, and down come Cradle.
Will you stop your damnable sneering and joking?
Gentlemen, please, we can't afford to quarrel at this time.
Okay by me. I apologize.
This terrible inactivity that gets on my nerves.
We are adopting, I feel convinced, the only measures possible, so long as we remain together, all within sight of each other. A repetition of the tragedies that have occurred must be impossible.
But we shall need food and sleep.
That's what I say.
The only way that the killer could get one of us is if one of us were detached from the rest. So long as we prevent that, we are all safe.
Oh, you're very quiet, Vera.
There isn't anything to say.
How about we get some food?
If you'd like, I will make some coffee. But you four stay here. That's right, isn't it?
Not quite. You see, Miss Claythorne, it may be inadvisable to eat or drink something that you had made out of our sight.
Oh. You don't like me, do you?
Is it a question of likes or dislikes?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think it's Blorn. I may be wrong, but he hasn't got the imagination for this sort of thing. All I can say is if I'm wrong, I tap my hat off to you as a damn fine actor.
Thank you. For nothing.
I don't think it's the doctor. He hasn't got the nerve for this sort of thing. But on the other hand, Vera, you've got plenty of nerve, haven't you? You don't strike me as not eminently sane. Therefore, you'd only commit murder if you had a thoroughly good motive.
Thank you.
I've thought of something.
Wow, that's great. Vegetable, animal, mineral.
That man says he's a police officer, but we've no proof of that.
Oh, he's a policeman, all right.
No. He said that he was a South African millionaire, and until the gramophone, he said that he was a South African millionaire, and he didn't say it until his name was mentioned. So maybe this police officer is just another impersonation. Think about it. What do we know about this man? Nothing. Nothing at all.
Like I said before, he's a policeman, all right. Just look at his feet.
I've heard enough from you, Mr. Lombard.
Well, now we know where we are. And by the way, Miss Claythorne suspects you, Doctor. Haven't you seen her shoot a dirty look from you, time to time? It all works out quite prettily. I suspect Sir Lawrence. Blore suspects me, Armstrong. You suspect Blore. And what about you, Sir Lawrence?
Oh. Quite early in the day, I formed a certain conclusion of the sort. It seemed to me that of all the events that have occurred, quite unmistakably have pointed to one person, and I still share that same opinion.
Which one?
Well, no. I think it would be inadvisable to mention that at this certain point in time.
Inadvisable in the public interest.
Exactly.
What does anyone say to the food idea?
I can't say I'm hungry.
I'm not ravenous myself, but you can go out and have a guzzle by yourself, Blore.
Tell you what, I'll go fetch us a tin of biscuits.
Oh, Blore?
Yes?
An unopened tin.
Of course.
Oh, it's that awful rhyme. It keeps going round and round in my head. I think I'll remember it till I die. Mr. Bloor sure is a long time.
Maybe the big bad wolf is gone.
No, thank you.
I don't know what you're being so funny about. Starving ourselves won't do us any good. How are you off for cigarettes?
I haven't got any.
I've run out as well.
Fortunately, I'm a pipe smoker.
I've got a whole box of scents in my suitcase. I'll go get them. I could do the cigarette myself. See that you'll stay where you are.
So, what does anyone say to a spot of whiskey?
Oh, good idea. Providing we tackle an unopened bottle.
Oh my God, he's dead! Wait, no!
Who is that?
Oh, you all right?
Philip, we've lost him. Where's Dr. Armstrong?
The matches.
Never mind the matches, get some candles.
I was horrified to death. It went right around my throat.
What did?
It felt in the dark, as if I was being strangled by a wet hand.
No wonder you yelled.
Who hung the seaweed there?
I don't know, but as soon as I find out, you'll be sorry he was ever born.
Who's that?
Don't worry, Miss Clayton, it's only me.
Here we are! Who fired the shot?
He's dead. Shot to the head.
One got in Chancery, and then there were four.
Sarah.
You got me out of the way. You got me to go assess for cigarettes. You did this. You hung the seaweed there. Also, you could kill that poor helpless old man in the dark. Oh, you're mad. All of you crazy. Oh, God, let me get out of here.
Three little soldier boys sitting in a row, watching as they guzzle. Who's the next to go?
Oh, Philip.
Oh, well. You hungry? It's been nearly 24 hours since we've had any food. That ought to lower the morale.
Yes, I needed that meal. Feel a new man.
Somehow, in the daylight, everything seems different.
You must not forget, there is a dangerous homicidal lunatic somewhere on this island.
Why is it one doesn't feel jittery about it anymore?
Now we know, beyond any possible doubt, who it is. Hey, Blore?
Yeah? Who?
Well, I said all along it was Dr. Armstrong.
You did, my sweet, you did. Until you went completely bats and suspected us all.
Yes. Well, it does seem rather silly in the light of day.
Well, very silly.
Providing it's Armstrong, what's happened to him?
Well, we know he wants us to think something's happened.
What exactly did you find?
About one shoe. Just one shoe sitting prettily on the cliff edge.
Suppose he really is dead.
I'm a bit suspicious of death without bodies.
Oh, of course the unknown owner is Dr. Armstrong, because I'll give you good proof of it.
What is it?
Just think of the rhyme. 4 little soldier boys went out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. Don't you see the subtlety of it all? A red herring. That's Dr. Armstrong's pretended suicide. But it's only a red herring, so really he isn't dead.
I see. What's next on the poem? 3 little soldier boys walking through a zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. I'll have a job with that one. There's no zoo on this island. What's that? A boat? A boat! Ah!
Oh, God!
Blore's got his.
How?
Booby trap, all set. Wire across the door attached to something above.
Is he...
Yes. Crushed, head stove right in. They caught a bear.
a bear? Oh, how ghastly!
What a fool Blore was!
And now there are 2.
Now there were 2. Now we know where we are.
Now we know where we are.
Oh yes, a very pretty trick of yours with that wire. Old Wargrave always knew you were dangerous.
Oh, you!
So you did kill the kid after all.
I didn't! That's where you're wrong. Please believe me. Please listen to me.
Oh, I'm listening. You'd better make it a good story.
It's not a story. It's the truth. I didn't kill that child. It was someone else.
Who?
A man. I was in love with him.
Oh, this is getting quite interesting.
Oh, don't sneer. It was hell. Absolute hell. He was wicked, and I didn't know. He said he loved me, but that he's too poor to marry. There was a rock far out that Peter was always wanting to swim to. Of course I wouldn't let him. It was dangerous. One day we were out on the beach, and I'd gone back to the house for something I'd forgotten. When I returned, I saw Peter swimming out to the rock. I knew he hadn't a chance. The current had gotten him already. I flew towards the beach. He tried to stop me, but I got away. Don't be a fool, he said. I told the little lass he could do it.
Oh, well, go on. This is interesting.
I pushed past him. He tried to stop me, but I got away and rushed in. I plunged into the sea and swam after Peter, but he had gone before I could get to him.
It all went well off at the inquest. They called you a plucky girl, but you kept discreetly quiet about his part in the business.
Do you think anyone would have believed me? Besides, I couldn't.
Well, it's a pretty story. And I suppose he let you down?
Do you think I ever wanted to see him again?
You're a very accomplished liar, Vera.
Can't you believe the truth when you hear it?
Who set the trap that killed Laura? I didn't, and Armstrong is dead. I've broken most of the commandments in my time, and I know, saints, there's one thing that I won't stand for, and that's murder.
You won't stand for murder! How about all those men you left to die in Africa?
That's what's so damn funny, I didn't.
What do you mean?
For once, just once, mark you, I risked my life. To save the lives of my men, I left my ammunition, my rifle, and all the food there was left, but there wasn't enough time. And then the rumor got around that I deliberately abandoned my men, and that's life for you.
You expect me to believe that? Why, you actually just admitted to the whole thing!
Oh, I know, I got such a kick out of watching their faces.
You can't fool me with a stupid lie like that!
Blast you!
Why didn't I see before? It's there on your face. The face of a killer.
Cunning little devil.
Oh. Now!
Young lover. Quite mad.
It's all come true. My 10 little soldiers plan. My rhyme. Silence in the court. If there is any more noise, I shall have this court cleared. It's all right, my dear, it's all right. Don't be frightened. This is a cause of justice. You'll get justice here. You thought I was a ghost. You thought I was dead. Armstrong said I was dead. That was the clever part of my plan. And when you fixed up my supposed death so that I should be free to spy upon the guilty one, he thought it an excellent plan. He came out that night to meet me by the cliff. I sent him over with a push. So easily. He swallowed my red herring all right. You know, Vera, I've always wanted to take life, yes, to take life. I had to get what enjoyment I could after sentencing the guilty. I always enjoyed it, you know, but it wasn't enough. I wanted more. I wanted to do it with my own hands. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, I sentence you to death.
Stop! Stop! I'm not guilty! I'm not guilty!
They all say that. Must plead not guilty. Unless you're going all out for a verdict of insanity. But you're not mad. I'm mad, but you're not.
You'll never get away with it.
Ah. I shan't be around to find out. I shall be found laid neatly in my bed with one shot right through the forehead, using this there revolver, and being very careful to preserve your fingerprints on it.
But I am innocent! I swear I'm telling the truth!
You know, Miss Claythorne, one of the last of my guests to be recruited. I happened to be crossing the Atlantic at the time, and late one night the sole occupants of the smoking room were myself and a good-looking young man. He was considerably drunk. And late one night, he sat down and he told me the most intriguing story. I can remember his words now. I've known a murderess, known her, I tell you. And what's more, I was crazy about her. You wouldn't think a girl like that, a nice, straight, jolly girl, would take a kid out to sea and let it drown?
No, please!
No, please. Naturally, I had to be absolutely certain. So I asked if he was sure. And suddenly sober, he thrust his face into mine. Quite sure. You see, she did it for me. I knew the moment I looked at her. I knew so well. During the gramophone recital, I watched the faces of you all closely. After my long court experience, I have no doubt in my mind that you were guilty, my dear. And now you killed Lombard, haven't you? How does it feel to be a killer? To be guilty?
I didn't kill that child. I never wanted to kill that child.
My lovely rhyme. I can't spoil my lovely rhyme. 10 little soldier boys. You're the only one. What a shame. My dear, you must pay for your crimes. For that poor innocent child you murdered. For Lombard. Yes. I'm good. One little soldier boy left all alone. Fine. He went and offed himself, and then there were none.